Welcome everyone to the On Podcast, the On Microsoft podcast, where we talk about Microsoft stuff. I am joined with the world's greatest co-host today,
Arif Bacchus.
and I'm Kareem Anderson, and we'll be talking about a lot of news. A lot's happened this week. We'll just kind of run off the top on some of our topics. We have information about Edge news.
And then we also have a segment about the new Surface devices which launched this week. And we
Uh,
also have some more bits relating to that about the PC shipment market, well, PC market growing, more demand for PCs because of coronavirus and the lockdown situations.
Yeah, speaking of lockdown situations, we'll be talking about people spending a little more time with their gaming devices. Microsoft has put on a new Bing app, which will reward gamers the same way it's been kind of doing for PCs, but on the actual console itself.
And then also we'll get into our special week ahead segment, which you'll only find on the On podcast, as we say every single week, where we'll talk about some topics we think will be big for Microsoft heading into the week and heading into Monday. So for that, this week we want to talk about Office, Windows, Teams, and even TikTok. If you guys still care about TikTok.
Yeah, we got some late breaking news. This is some reporting from a trusted site, and we'll kind of talk about that at the end of this show. But just to kind of recap and come back to where we started, we'll let start off with the Edge news.
Yeah, so this week Edge got a big update to version 86, and this was released on Friday, October 9th. You probably got it downloaded automatically already, and you're probably already running it. And of course, it's on Windows 10, 7, 8.1, and Windows 8 too. And so this version of Edge isn't really that major. The main thing you'll notice is support for table of contents for PDF documents, which is easier for you people who are constantly reading PDFs or books or anything of that nature. And then also, if you have a fancy Surface device, which we're about to get into, you can also now use a digital pen to highlight text on PDFs, which will now be visible on PDFs in this update. And also, under the hood, you should see that your scrolling also improved when you scroll your mouse on web pages. And there are also some quality improvements too, which I believe Kareem will get into.
For PDFs or for Edge itself.
For Edge itself.
Yeah, we have favorite improvements. Just kind of um, updating that section of the browser itself, where people can go and edit and organize now. I know prior to this update, I was having trouble myself, anecdotally, organizing because it always dropped everything that I wanted to save to the bottom of the page. And if it's something new, something more recent, and obviously you saved it for a reason, you kind of want it to surface to the top. So now you can kind of go in and manually move those kind of things, and it's really beneficial, especially when you start doing collections as well, where you can go in and kind of sort things, and you can sort them again from most recent to the oldest sections as well. So you kind of set up the way you want things, and I believe that they just showed up um, uh, an audio mute tab for tabs itself. So you can basically kind of silence stuff, obviously, from the tab itself. You don't need to really go in. I know prior we would see the little icon that said, "Hey, something's making noise." Now you can actually mute it from the tab itself. So these are just some kind of cool things. I mean, I wish they would get more into touch with this kind of stuff as we start getting more touch devices. But they're kind of cool little niceties to have as the browser kind of evolves very quickly, I believe.
But Microsoft is listening to people, and one of those things we wrote about this week is that in the Canary and the dev channels, Edge is getting a new favorite experience, which eliminates all those down menus that you have to click to see if you have a folder of favorites. Now the favorites will be in a tree, which makes it easier to see, edit, organize, and search for your favorites if you have a favorites bar that's filled with a lot of bookmarks.
Yeah, and as you were saying, it's more information about the favorites. You can start to pin favorites in the pane alongside the browser. You have the ability to see all your favorites, right as you browse, and this is kind of going back to that tree mentality of being able to just kind of see everything versus where it was, hidden under folders and files previously.
And collections also got an update where now, obviously, we're all looking for brand new Microsoft Surface Duos and Surface Pros and Surface laptops. So now, when you're shopping, if you add a web page with a specific product to your collection, it'll suggest for you to see the prices at other retailers. And collections will actually help you save some money now. And this is rolling out on all major versions of Edge, not just Canary and Dev. It's available everywhere.
Yeah, and for those of you who already have your Surface devices,
Holiday shopping.
yeah, this is perfect for holiday shopping because again, this is sort of like your own mini Amazon built into the browser itself. If you don't want to go to Amazon, you can start to kind of price shop, price comparison within the browser and across almost any website essentially to kind of see. Obviously, this will be using Microsoft's machine learning and I'm assuming any partnerships they have with other publications, large retailers out there. I'm not sure that you're going to be able to just go to every site and pull up a price comparison, but I think as the feature
Most
kind of
sites
evolves,
work with it. Yeah.
most sites will work. So that again, going into holiday shopping, it should be pretty nice for everyone to kind of be able to pick up something and then hold it for a second and see if you can get a better price for it.
So speaking of holiday shopping, I know I jumped the gun and I'm like, oh, everyone has to go buy a new Surface. But there are some new Surface devices you can now buy. They just launched this week, and I'll let Kareem talk about those.
Yeah, we had Apple kind of, suck the air out of the room with their iPhone 12 announcement. But along that same time, you might have also seen it. Anybody who's got saved YouTube channels or subscribed to specific reviewers and things like that, you start seeing these review of the Surface Go pop up. I believe the Surface Pro is also up for sale as well. But
Surface Pro X.
Surface Pro X. I apologize.
The new top-end model with the SQ2 processor inside.
Yeah, Surface Pro X2 is, I guess you're calling it.
They're not calling it Pro X2. They're just calling it top-tier, top-end Surface Pro X.
I'm sure they'll have like a little brackets around the saying 2020 version.
Yeah.
But yeah, those can be purchased at the Microsoft Store. I believe you can also check Best Buy, and I don't think they've ever sold anything at Target, but at least Best Buy and Costco should have some deals for you. But alongside that, obviously, go do your research for it. We will be having as soon as we can get our hands on one, we would like to review it. But since we haven't been able to, we've kind of just scoured the internet to kind of see, check the temperature in the room on the Surface Go, a Surface Laptop Go. And for everybody, it seems to be a pretty decent device. A lot of people have the singular caveat about the screen being its biggest letdown. I've kind of gathered some headlines. I know that CNET's review, their subheader was the best looking laptop $500 can buy. Engadget said it's a solid starter PC with limits. Windows Central said a fun, delightful mini me PC. The Verge, they were a little more, I wouldn't say harsh, but critical of the device with Tom Moore, being a Windows guy, saying it's a case study in cost cutting. And like again, for the most part, everyone's kind of saying, this is a great starter PC. Just know what you're getting into.
And again, for $550, like we've been saying the past 2 weeks, you're getting cheap. It's basically a cheaper version of the Surface Laptop 3 with a 12.4-inch display, 10th Gen Core i5, up to 8 gigs of RAM. But that $550 unit has the slower eMMC storage and the 4 gigs of RAM. So you'll be limited there. But inside, all the models have the same quad-core i5, so the performance will be there on most models. I actually had one under embargo for review for my other gig, and unfortunately I can't show it on the show, but I was told I could speak about it, and of course, Microsoft sent us the mid-tier model, which is 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigabyte hard drive, and the Core i5, and it has a fingerprint reader, and overall, I have a Surface Laptop 3 15-inch. I used it myself for work for the week that I had it, and it's a pretty nice device. Something that I really liked about it is that quad core processor inside. It was able to tackle almost everything I threw at it for work. So if you're considering Surface Laptop Go for work or for school, it's something that will get you through your day and get you through your productivity with no problems whatsoever.
Yeah. Again, reviews are saying the battery life's pretty decent. The obviously most review units, as Arif got, were mid tier. I think Tom Warren suggested the top tier, which will run you close to $900. It's a little more pricey. But if you again get the mid tier one, which I think jumps you to about $700 or so.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think it's a 750-ish.
yeah.
But even at that price, you're getting into Surface Go 2 territory, which is what I said in my review. If you're all about Surface Pen and inking and getting a high res display, you might as well choose Surface Go 2 over Surface Laptop Go. But if you're all about productivity and enjoying the clamshell form factor, you should go for Surface Laptop Go. But I mean, just my opinion, everyone has their own 2 cents.
Well, it's an interesting sell, or an interesting pitch, because as you said, you get into Surface Go territory, except you're still limited by the 10.1, 10.5
And the slower M3 Core M3, or is it Core
Right.
M3 or Core i3? Either one. It's a
It's
slow
the
dual core processor. So
It's
the
an
Laptop Go has good performance over the other budget Surface.
I got mine right behind me. I love that thing. It has become a workhorse. It can get bottlenecked. So with some GPU intensive work, obviously, but it's an amazing device. I love it. But like I said, it's weird that again, to get to the bigger screen, you kind of take a step back to go another step forward. And so yeah, I mean, again, everyone's review so far has been pretty decent laptop. You get a couple of different color options as well, and I know it's also being sold after the initial school season. But I mean, as we're in the quarantine and the pandemic, I think people will be buying laptops for some time to come year round. So
That's
it's a good device.
That's a good segue for what we're about to get into, which is the coronavirus pandemic. A lot of people thought it would crush the PC industry and damage shipments and cause delays, and no one has money to buy computers or laptops anymore. But actually, shipments rised by 11.4% year over year.
Yeah, I wrote a piece about this, and the core thesis is that it's early on, PC manufacturers were thrown off by the increase in demand. So production was not only halted because of early shelter-in-place orders, but now that other countries, especially ones that are outside the U.S. doing manufacturing, are kind of rounding the corner on their specific cases of the pandemic and getting back to work. PC manufacturers are starting to be able to fill those requests and shipment orders. And here in the U.S., which is where we saw the largest amount of growth, I think around the world, it was about 3.4%. But in the U.S. particularly, we got 11.4% year over year. People are still kind of staying at home, and these home offices are still being built out. And the other part of the Gartner, which is what we're reporting on, the analyst firm, research firm, is discussing is that businesses are being a little more cost sensitive about the devices that they send employees home with. Prior to COVID, they were mentioning that if you were going to be working from home, you would essentially get whatever top tier device they had, because it would eventually get re-enveloped back into the company once you came back to work. You weren't going to be there for an extended period of time. Now with everyone kind of working months on end at home, they're businesses are looking for mid-range devices that they don't necessarily need to recoup immediately the cost for.
So definitely it fits into Microsoft's market for Surface Laptop Go, won't you say?
Yeah, well, I mean, that was the other thing. As I was reading reviews of the Surface Laptop Go, there are a couple of devices that specifically kind of work in that area, and I believe I reviewed a ThinkPad Yoga L13 which is the business version of the Surface Go or Surface Laptop Go. So if you guys want, you can go check out that review or go look online for it. It's again the business equivalent, but Microsoft has the cachet of being a much bigger, nicer looking product than the ThinkPad. But if you're interested in that, that's one option. The other thing that they noted, obviously, is that the top three OEMs, such as I believe it's HP, Dell, and Lenovo, all remained in the same spots. Acer, Asus, they weren't able to kind of coast on this to rise anywhere. Everyone kind of stayed the same, just saw an increase in demand, an increase in that. Going forward, though, there have been questions about if this will maintain. Again, as things start to open up, as manufacturing gets back in place, we'll have to see in the next quarter, which is what everyone's kind of wondering about, if the numbers maintain.
Okay,
Or if we start to see the decline again.
enough about PCs. Let's talk Xbox.
Yeah, the more fun stuff.
So if you guys didn't see it on Twitter or didn't hear about it, Microsoft just launched a new Bing Rewards app on Xbox One. Not necessarily new, it was in a preview back in June, but now anyone can fire up their Xbox and download it. Still US only for now, but this new Bing app on Xbox One, it gives you a nice clean hub to search the web, find your content, and even earn points and Microsoft rewards for doing so, which is how I paid for my Duo, by the way. Anyway, some of the features in the Bing Rewards app, alongside regular searching, it's also able to combine Bing data with the information on your Xbox, such as your game progress, your Xbox friends, and anyone who's playing a given title. So you're able to combine Bing with Xbox and have a central search for all things Xbox, essentially.
Yeah, I downloaded it yesterday with I think it was about a 4 gig update that came in for insiders, I believe, and tried it out. It's really, really cool. I believe you can also, I didn't get a chance to personally do it, but I think you can also search with voice because
yeah.
We all know the agony of trying to use your controller to kind of type in stuff. So you can use your voice to search things, and again, it's just a cool little thing to kind of add to the usage of the Xbox. And obviously, this will be brought to the Xbox Series X and S when they are released. And I mean, what better way to keep people engaged in the console itself outside of games than to reward them, give them the opportunity to get another month's worth of subscription for Game Pass Ultimate, or put that money towards a new controller or customized controller. These are all kind of things that you can do. And I believe I'm not certain, but this search functionality should start to be prevalent throughout the system. So I believe you can also start to get rewarded for other searches when you're not within the app, if you do a search outside of the app using the voice commands as well.
I do think the app also has special quizzes and quests that you could do to earn rewards points, which, as Kareem said, you could use to redeem for Xbox Gold or anything, gift cards, Target gift cards, Amazon gift cards, and pretty much earn money for using your Xbox One. What more do you want?
Yeah. And again, speaking of earning, we were also going to talk about the games because this is a console. This is where people are more interested. I know us nerds love the Bing aspect, but most people are just going to buy it, start their game, and go. And fortunately for those people, the Xbox Wire, I believe, just released the launch titles that'll be coming out. I think they have 30 games that'll be playable on day one. 20 of them with a smart delivery, and they're upgradable automatically. And there's going to be obviously a deluge of backwards compatible across the 4 generations of consoles. But again, day one, people will at least have 30 games that they'll be able to play from this library. And some of these games include Call of Duty, Black Ops Cold War, Cyberpunk 2027 or 2077. We'll also be having who's another one?
I don't know. There's a lot.
Yeah, it's a long list. But again, they're just to be clear, they're not exclusives, but they'll be at least titles that'll hold you over until some of those exclusives start showing up, probably at the end of Q1 2021.
And Microsoft is working with third game developers and third parties to make sure that these games work and look best on Xbox One Series X. Well, I keep saying Xbox One Series X, Xbox Series X to be
Yeah, the tabs
precise.
are a bit confusing, and I'll see if I can round up. There was a post that I think got overlooked about 10 really cool indie games coming to the Xbox, and I don't believe they're part of this list, but people should be able to look out. Again, if you're just looking for something to kind of showcase the graphic capacity of this game, there are some indie games that are coming out during launch, the launch window, that are really cool to kind of check out. Um, and there's also one other thing I want to sneak in before we get into our GameStop news, which is this comment about, because we're talking about games, Phil Spencer made this weekend about Elder Scroll and Bethesda not necessarily going to be as open as people might have thought. He's not saying that he's closed to making all Bethesda games exclusives, but he said that I believe he said, this is being reported from GameSpot, uh, that Microsoft won't be forced to release Elder Scroll 6 on the PS5. Again, could
So
be up for
is it him saying this is going to be an Xbox exclusive?
he's being very political about the way he's talking about this, but he's saying that he believes the fastest way to recoup, that there'll be a fast way to recoup their $7.5 billion investment that doesn't require them still keeping games exclusive to Sony or the PlayStation 5. Just kind of put everybody, at least on the internet, in a tizzy about this. Again, we'll be reporting this more in the week as more information comes out, and I'm sure more executives will chime in with more clarifications on the matter. But again, just one little story to kind of keep an eye out for, as far as that huge Bethesda gaming library and what's to come.
So just tell us more about this GameStop deal that you were so excited about last week.
Yeah. I was initially excited because I had all these like grand conspiracy theories about how this is going to work for Microsoft, and then Microsoft threw a bunch of cold water on it by announcing that it's just a straightforward enterprise play where they were going to partner with GameStop to revamp their entire enterprise communication
for more info. Thank you. Goodbye.